Me.
Yes.
So we are going to be talking about presser feet today.
Nice.
We're going to highlight 3 different ones. And I'm telling you, presser feet are what make your job easier.
Absolutely.
A lot of times people don't change out their presser foot. You'll use your J foot for everything, and while it will work, I guess, it doesn't really work well for everything.
Yes.
For example, let's say that you're wanting to do a rolled hem. Well, if I'm trying to use a J foot, I don't have any way for that fabric to roll itself.
Yeah, that probably won't work very well.
What's another one here? Let's see. If I'm trying to put on like a string of pearls, if I don't have a foot that has a groove in it for those pearls to go under it, it's not going to work.
No.
You have to use the right foot for it. So this is a chance for you to see 3 different feet. And remind me again, Ashley, which ones are we showing today? The edge joining foot,
The cording foot, and the bridging plate set.
yes, a bridging plate set. So that's not a foot, but and that's not a foot, but it is a tool that you use with your feet, and we'll show you how it works. It's a really cool tool. So let's go and do that right now.
Perfect.
I wanted to show you a quick little video about an edge joining foot. This might not be a foot that you've ever used before. It's a super great one to have. It offers you a way to join edges together, hence the edge joining foot. And it's a really great tool. So let me get it out of the box. So this is the edge joining foot. And I'm going to just lay it down, oops, so you can see it right there. I'm going to turn it over so you can see from the back side how it has this little black piece of metal right there. And that is what goes between the fabric pieces so that when it's sewing, it is able to keep your fabrics pressed up against either side of that. It is a snap-on foot, so it's going to work on machines with snap-on feet, of course. And of course, Baby Lock always provides a little instruction page so that you know what it's supposed to be for. So this one is for couching or faggoting stitches. It has a preset of a stitch width of 5. So if you want to do edge stitching, you can also change it too. So it gives you a little tutorial here. But let me show you. I'm a real show me kind of person, so some of you I know probably like to see how things work more than you like to just hear about how they work. Let me move this out of the way. So it's going to be a snap-on foot, as I said. This one, get my thread out. So it's snapped on. And I'm going to take 2 pieces of fabric. I've got a couple of pieces of denim right here. And I've just finger pressed them so I've got the turned edge instead of putting raw edges together. You can put raw edges together, but I wanted you to see how it looked like this. And when you look in all your stitches here, I'm going to come down here to this one and this stitch right here. This is number 212, and it will tell you right up at the top here, this is a faggoting cross stitch. And anytime you touch something, it's going to say like that's a smocking stitch, that's a feather stitch, this one is a tape attaching. So if you don't know what a stitch is for, it does tell you right up here what it's about. But I'm going to go back to this one because that's the stitch that I'm referring to. There's more than one type of stitch for this foot, but I'm going to show you on that one. Okay, so when we go in here, get my thread pulled around, try to keep my hands out of your way. And if you can see right down in there, I'm putting my fabric up next to each side of that. And I'm going to put it so that it's right underneath the opening here. And when I sew, I want to make sure it's not splaying out like this, that I'm keeping it guiding along that black metal piece that goes down the middle. So my job is just to keep it together and going straight. I'll sew a little bit faster here. And as you can see, I don't really have to hold on it too much, but if I let go, it wants to go apart. So you can't let go, but you don't need to like hold it with a death grip. So I'm going to go ahead and stop for a second and cut that so you can get the impact of what that can do. And you can see it makes a perfectly joined edge. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another way you could use that is maybe you're trying to put lace on the edge of fabric. So I'm going to give myself another folded edge here, because I probably am not going to want that to be on a raw edge, although there are times that I have done that as well. And when I do this one, again, I'm going to put this one right here. Might be harder to see with my yellow thread, but that's what I got right now. Put my presser foot down. I know you can push on the foot pedal on a lot of machines and it lowers the presser foot. On this one, I like to make sure that it's in place before it starts trying to sew for me, because I don't want it to get away from me. And again, we're doing that faggoting stitch, which you could also do, there's some lace edge stitches, but I really like this one because it really pulls it nice and close together. And can you see the little black part right in between there? Mm-hmm. See it right there? Oops. Oh, we have a hole right there now. And I'm gonna cut that one. And look how pretty that is. So that you have you're getting to use the whole piece of lace rather than having to, stitch in and diminish the width of it. I also sewed some on some half square triangles. That is true raw edge. So you have to think about the fact if you're cutting something that is supposed to have a 1/4 inch seam, well, I didn't utilize that there, but I wanted you to see how nicely it can pull that. I mean, I'm pulling that pretty hard against itself. It's really got those edges together. It's also something that you could probably do on an applique, that if you wanted to run this right along the edge of your applique, and you could do a really pretty stitch with that. So as I said, this is the edge joining foot. If it's not one you have in your sewing toolbox, maybe you should call us at any one of our stores and get one today. I'm going to talk to you today about the bridging plate set. This is usually found on the wall with all of the presser feet. Even though this is not a presser foot, it is a bridging plate. It is over in those type of accessories. So let me show you here. These are bridging plates. So it looks just like your bobbin plate. If you notice, here's a bobbin plate, same shape, but what's different is it has a place to be able to bridge fabric together. I think you can see how different in size they are. Like this one is small enough that it fits inside of that one. I'm going today show you this one right here with a little bit narrower bridging plate on it. So we take this and we snap it in place just like we did on any kind of bobbin plate cover. And it comes with an instruction page as well. It has a 2.5 millimeter wide or a 5 millimeter wide. And you can kind of see here when it's closer together, it makes a little tighter stitch, or I can do it apart. If you are into heirloom sewing, this is really great for that. It can be an excellent way to just do something decorative. I can just think of so many ways I could just play with this to see how I might be able to use this. I'm going to show this to you on denim today because I think it's easier to see the contrast in the thread on this. Obviously heirloom sewing is not usually done in denim fabric, but let me show you how this works. It will tell you can use overcasting, a wide zigzag, feather stitching, patchwork, open decorative stitches where it's swinging side to side. It's not wanting you to do a satin stitch because having that much thread just crammed in between there, it's not a real effective way to use a satin stitch. You can try it if you want, but usually if it tells you it doesn't work, they probably already looked at it. So we have that one on here, and here's my 2 pieces of denim, and I'm going to put them right beside here and put my presser foot down so that my fabric is right underneath there. And as this stitches, it is going to go across these two, and it's going to leave that open space so that you will be able to see the thread. So looking over here at my stitch options, I'm going to go into character decorative stitches, and I'll just pick the first tab. You'll notice a lot of these are going to swing from left to right, just like this feather stitch, and this looks like a bridging stitch. I like this one right here. So when you look at that, you can see how that is going to go across there. It is a predetermined width and length on those, and I have it repeating. You can also do it 1 stitch at a time, but that's not going to accomplish what I want it to accomplish. So we're going to do it where it's doing all of the stitches. So if you can see right here, I'm going to try and keep my arms out of the way. we're going to start stitching this, and it's going to bridge between the two pieces of fabric. And my job is to keep it so that it's even along the sides of that bridging plate. You could also make some of your own unique fabrics if you wanted to have something that looked lacy that you incorporated into a quilt or a piece of clothing. You know, sometimes you try looking for something that doesn't exist out there, but you can imagine it in your head. And this is a really good way to just be creative and come up with what you want. And I'm going to speed that up just a little bit so you can, I think it's going to show better if I show you a longer stitch pattern of it. But as you can see, I'm not letting it splay out away from that bridging. This is the more narrow bridging plate. There is a wider bridging plate. And we'll go ahead and stop there. And you can see now how it, you can see through it. But isn't that a neat technique so that you can have something have a lacy look if you want to use that for heirloom? It's very common to have like pin tucks and delicate edging on things, and being able to attach things that way. You could attach lace the same way too to give it a unique look. So this is the bridging plate set that is located typically over on the walls that have the presser feed. Stop in the store today if you want a demo on it, or if you just think, oh my gosh, I need that set, and come get it today. This one is the cording foot. This is a really great way to do some interesting techniques that you can attach cording to the top of it so it has a decorative effect. Let me show you here the different threads that we picked out. We have the Wonderfill Glamour, that's this one with the sparkles in it. We have the Wonderfill Eleganza, that's this one right here. You can see it has a little bit more heft to it. And then this one is the Variegated Fruity. And as you see, they are 3 different weights of thread. They're not going through the needle, these are being attached from the top. So here's the foot, and it is a snap-on foot. You can see right here it has the little grooves that the thread is going to fit underneath right here. So I've taken off the regular foot, and I'm going to snap this one on. And you know, you have 2 ways you can do it. You can either lower it down, and half the time I miss it that way, or you can go up with it. This is why I just press mine on from underneath. I guess my spatial judgment is off a little bit here.
I always put it too far back.
But you can see this little part right here is where our threads are going to go underneath here. So I'm going to raise my presser foot up, and I have my beautiful threads. This one is that Glamour, and I'm going to slide that underneath there, and that's in the first groove. And you need to have tails behind you so that you know, you don't want to start it from the very edge of the thread. That would be a little difficult to work with. I put it through that groove and underneath, and I want that one in the middle one. Come on, you can go over there. There we go. And then I need the yellow one. And again, I'm going to go underneath that little groove, and that one's in place there. So you can see I have all 3 of my threads in place. So now I'm going to take my fabric, and I'm going to put it underneath here. So if I wanted to be able to top stitch this on here, go ahead and put my presser foot down, and I'm going to hold on to those 3 threads. I'm not going to pull too hard because I don't want to unsecure them from there, but I want to keep them from getting tangled. And I'm just going to pick, I like to do a triple stitch on top of it, but you have options of what stitches you can use. I'm trying to keep my hands out of your way. So I'm over here on utility stitches, and I'm going over here to a triple stitch. And I happen to have a coordinating thread on here. Ooh, I almost pulled that one out. And when I'm going to make sure it's a nice and wide stitch, because I want it to be able to span the distance. So I've got 7 millimeters on there. And when we start stitching, I'm just going to keep my threads from twisting and tangling. Of course, if I needed it to turn, I can make it turn. Isn't that fun?
That is.
And we'll just come right off the edge here. Cut my thread. and they're still in there, so I'm just going to pull them all the way out. Isn't that fun how it can do that? Now, apparently somewhere along the way, my orange one got a little slippery on where it was supposed to be, but that's the concept behind it. And not only do we have a 3-cord foot, we also have a 5-cord foot. It's a little bit different. Let me show you here. Instead of it having the little groove to go under, you pull the threads through those holes. So there is going to be a limit on how heavy your thread can be, because if it's going to, you know, fray the thread, obviously you can't put that one through there. But putting your thread through there, and then you have 3 on top and 2 on bottom, and that makes an even more saturated look with those decorative threads. So you have the options between a 5-cording foot and a 3-cording foot, so that you can yet make another neat way to embellish your fabrics. So I put the 5-cord foot on here, and as you can see, this has little holes to put it through, and this is all some pretty decent weight thread, so it's going to fit a majority of threads through there. I had an easier time threading it through the holes and then attaching it to it, but you got to hang on to the ends of it. Actually, I'm lying. When I did it that way, I kept letting go, and they kept falling out. But I had a harder time trying to pull it from underneath when it was already attached. So if you want to fish them through there, hold on tight to the thread. Then you're going to put your presser foot down, and then you can see that I've got 3 reds and then an orange and a yellow. So there's a red, and then I need my orange over here. I'm going to make sure they're not twisted up. There's that. And then I've got a red. I just got to figure out which red it is. And this red goes over here, and this yellow goes here. So you can see I've got 5 threads, right? And again, I'm just going to do a triple stitch. You can do all sorts of different stitches over the top of it. I'm just going to use a triple stitch, but I'm going to make sure that my threads are staying where they're supposed to be. And I'm just gently putting a little pressure on it to keep the threads going straight. Now I want to also try it with maybe a different stitch. So I'm going to put it, let's get needle up, and I'm going to put it on just, let's see, what kind of fun stitch do we want it to be? Maybe we want it to have a feather stitch on it. Okay? So we'll try the tail end of this with a feather stitch and see how that looks. And the fabric just feeds fairly straight. If I needed to curve it, of course, I'd have to control the fabric a little bit. We'll cut that. And I'm going to have to pull it this way just because the threads are still inside the presser foot. But isn't that pretty? You can really get the idea of how fun these decorative stitches. I actually like that a lot better than I like that one. But sometimes we have these threads and we're not real sure what we should do with them. This is another fun way to embellish something you're working on. Gosh, that was a lot of fun learning about those feet.
Yeah.
Did you learn something, Ashley?
Oh yeah, I don't think I knew how to use any of those.
So now you have a new tool to put into your sewing collection.
Yeah.
All right, so I think that I want to talk to you about what the special is this week.
Ooh, yeah, what is it?
So, Baby Lock feet,
Uh-huh.
they are going to be 20% off through Saturday.
Ooh, nice.
That is a nice deal. So if you've ever been thinking about getting something, or maybe it's just something that you need to try, this is a great time to do it and get a discount.
Absolutely.
And we are going to do a giveaway, but I'll tell you about that in just a minute.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to bring up is we have the Missy Billingsley event coming up at our Tulsa store and at our Humble store.
Nice.
So this is a great way to learn everything there is to know about your Triumph serger and make some wonderful products. Missy is a whole lot of fun. What are the dates on there, Ashley?
It is April 5th, 6th, and 7th in Tulsa, and 20th, 21st, and 22nd in Humble. And look, if you sign up by the 28th, you get the early bird special of only $149 for all 3 days.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and if you sign up for the event, you get the trunk show for free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if maybe coming to the event is not something that will fit your schedule, you can still sign up for the truck show for $20.
Nice.
And I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of fun. I love everything that Missy does. We have a great time with her. So call any store and we can get you signed up. You don't have to only call Tulsa or Humble to get into it. If you want to call Muskogee, or if you want to call Springfield or Oklahoma City or Fayetteville, we will get you signed up in one of these events as well.
Absolutely.
So time is running short on signing up for this at the discounted rate, and it is filling up. I know there's not a whole lot of seats left.
Yeah.
So really take care of that ASAP.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so now the free prize for one lucky winner. So these are Baby Lock bags. And let me show you inside here. For all those extra feet you get, they have to go somewhere. So this one has a little pocket in here that you can put things in. You can put your marking pencils and whatnot over there.
Ooh.
So this is going to be the free gift for one lucky winner for all those that will take the time to do like, share, and comment. And we will have that drawing Thursday at 5 p.m. And we
Perfect.
want one of you to be the lucky winners of that. We so enjoy having you at our New at 2 on Tuesday. Invite your friends to join us. It's a great way to learn big things, little things, tips and tricks. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you next week at New at